Sweet.
Hello, we are back with another camping video,
That's right.
all about our desire for property. We'll probably do a couple like this. Our kids are all sleeping right now, maybe, so
Perfect
it's an
time.
easy time to do it. But today we wanted to talk about why now, because I think that has a lot to do with kind of why we're actively searching and why we're really trying to find something. So what was it, back in November?
It was in the fall, yeah.
You gotta move your hand. Thanks. Or you can put it back there, you just can't push it against me. So back in November, Steph and I were talking. Were we on a date?
No, we were home. Talking. I think it was during
probably doing like a nighttime
or something like that, yeah.
date or something. We were talking, and he regularly does this. He's an awesome husband. Husbands, take note. And he was just like, hey, is there anything else that you feel you want to do? Like, do you feel that you're flourishing and growing and following after the things, your desires and your hopes and things like that? And without hesitation, I was like, I want land.
Well, first you said, I want when the kids get older.
Well, no, we got to that. So I was like, I want to live on land. And then he was like, okay. And then I was like, and I went into more detail and had said, when I envision raising our children, I envision doing it on land. Like, I envision them exploring. I envision some maybe farm animals or farmland. I don't know, just
sheep,
land, more land. Sheep or cows or donkeys, or just living that kind of lifestyle to a more full extent than what we've been able to do. And he stopped me and said, what do you mean raising our kids?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, when I picture us with our kids, I just picture us on land.
Yep.
And I picture raising them on land and raising them with this lifestyle. And he goes, you mean raising them
right now?
Like we are?
Like we are right now.
Right now?
Yep.
And I was like, what? And then started doing the math. So at the time, our oldest was 6 and a half.
6 and a half, yep.
And I was like, she's going to be 7 in 6 months. And then she only has 3 more years till she's 10. And then I was like, she's already 6, which means in 10 years she'll be driving on her own. Yeah. And then I was like, in 3 more or 2.5 more years, we're halfway done with raising her in a way, because she's almost 18.
Yep.
And it just kind of blew me away.
You didn't realize our kids are sneaking up in age.
Right. And I think a lot of it is we've had a baby on our hips essentially for the last 7 years, now that our oldest is now 7. And as you keep having babies, you just kind of, I feel like we are very present and we're very active with our children.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like we've missed out on that time with our older kids.
Right.
But I just feel like because we always have a baby, we just always think our kids are just all young.
Yeah, we have dreams of when they all get older. And the reality
but
is
we keep having a baby, and so
we can't wait for all of them to get older.
Yeah, and there's not going to be that point, because by the time our youngest, Adea, is Sophia's age, who is our oldest,
7.
Sophia will be 14. So things like that, we didn't realize. And so that's when we just really decided, well, yeah, we want to do this now then. We want to kick this in, and we want to actively pursue this, rather than just be oh, someday when our kids are older. Oh, someday when our kids are older. Which, that was a lot of why we moved into the camper and lived in the camper for a year, was because we wanted to experience with our kids, even though they were really young, and we hope to do it again sometime, even though they're young.
But they're young.
I'm gonna have to adjust this.
But because of them being young shouldn't be your excuse. You should still try to pursue whatever your dreams are for your family, even though they're young,
and take them on that journey with you.
The clock is ticking.
Yeah. And you're not guaranteed. That was our big thing for when we moved into the camper for a year. We had always been oh, we'd love to do that when our kids are grown or older. but you're not guaranteed that time, and you're not guaranteed the ability to do it at that point. Like, you know, anything could happen, or financially it just might not work, or they get involved in sports or things like that, and it's just not always guaranteed. So it just, things came together at that point in time for us to move into the camper, and that was awesome. And so we have, that's why we actively started pursuing properties and really narrowing down what we want and what we're looking for. And we will do another video later if you are looking for raw property, some things to keep in mind, or just properties in general, acreage in general, some things to keep in mind as you kind of go through that process, because we learned a lot and have looked at way too many properties and are still looking at properties, and will continue looking at properties until we find the one that does have everything that we have decided is kind of an essential. So we just wanted to pop on here and talk about why we're doing this. And you know, even like with moving into the camper, with a lot of things that we do with our kids, a lot of people question that, not like in a bad way, but are like, oh, how do you do that with such young kids? Like, how, I could never do that with young kids. We get that all the time, like, and comments like that. And really, like, you can, and your kids can do hard things with you, and your kids can work through things with you, and can be flexible with you, especially,
and it might inspire them to do it when they get older.
Yeah, especially if you like really talk with them through the process. Like, we have found that to be huge, even just through looking at properties and being hopeful about some and seeing some kind of fall away, and that's been disappointing at times. But to talk with our kids through that, and to really like show faith through that when it is our time and when the location is right, like, we will have a property that is for us. And in the meantime, and we will say this again and again and again, in the meantime, we will use the property
that we currently have,
that God has given us, which is a third of an acre. Like, it's nothing. It's just a regular suburban
smaller, but it's not.
Home, property, backyard. That is what we have been given, though, at this time, and that is where we are at. And there's a lot that we can do with that. There's a lot more, like, we already have more plans for expanding our garden for our fall crop, getting chickens in there. I mean, there's so much that you can do wherever you're at, and so that is what we will do moving forward while we're actively looking for something more. Anything else?
No, let's be your kick in the butt and go.
Go. If you desire to do something, find a way to make it happen. That's the only thing I can say. Anytime anyone mentions to me, like, man, it'd be cool to travel and live in a van, or it'd be cool to take a big long trip, or cool to try to live in a camper, I say do it. Try it. The worst that could happen is you absolutely hate it, and then you change and you buy a house again. And then at least you know that you tried it. Like, at least you will know that you don't like it. Most likely, you will have some hard times, but you'll end up loving it. Yeah. And, or with anything that you think like, oh, it'd be cool to try this. Find a way to try it. Even in like small, like increments. Just find a way to try it and see if you like it.
Well said.
That's all I got. Okay, we'll say goodbye. I think next time we should talk about, what should we talk about next time? We talk about why now, why we're doing this right now, maybe what we're looking for in property, and some of the things that have come up that have been like make or break it for us, for a few properties, and kind of what to look for and things to be aware of if you're looking for property, like different things to look for, utilities wise, water wise, land wise. There's a few things, like especially if you're looking to use it to farm or do like mini farm homesteading stuff, there's a few kind of key things to be aware of and to think about through that. That might be the next video. Tomorrow's nap time chat.
Tomorrow's nap time chat, that's right.
Bye,
Let us know in the
guys.
comments below if there's anything that you have started new or tried.
Yeah, or that you know you want to and you haven't yet. What is it?
We'll be your accountability partners and follow up.
We'll follow up. Maybe we'll try to. Okay, bye.